I just want to snuggle it. It's so adorable. This is the perfect little laser to get started with if you ever wanted to play with a laser engraver, and the price point is pretty darn awesome. Let's get in and let's play and let's test a whole bunch of fun little objects and see what this little laser can do. All right, let's get to cutting. This thing is so adorable. Let's open it up and take a look. I love the small compactness of the whole thing. It is perfect if you're just getting started, or if you just don't have like a whole room that you could dedicate to a laser. This thing is the perfect little size. All right, let's keep opening it up, see what's in here. This is the size of the plate that you were able to engrave on. So you get some practice things that you can engrave on, some practice elements, and a couple of wood pieces, some tools, a little dry erase, power adapter, some connection things to make things compatible, safety glasses, some more connecting cables, a little mini screwdriver, some feet if you want to extend this up in case you want to put something under it to engrave or to do things. There's an adapter hose. We're going to get into that in a minute because they did send another thing to goes with it, is what that little hole in the back is for. And some more cables. All right, so now I just got to figure out put this whole thing together. Okay, it's all together. It is so super cute. Now, this is the other little extra thing that you can get to go with it, and it is a vent. No longer are you gonna need to like have this connect to your outside and have like a window thing. This little baby does all that job for you. So this makes this super, super easy for somebody who's got like a craft desk like this and has a very limited space and wants to do some engraving or some laser cutting. That is fantastic. It is so easy to put together. So literally, there's this little thing right here. You get these little pads, and there's extra pads that you can pop in here. So all of the fine dust, like when you're cutting anything or engraving, you're gonna have a little bit of dust from the wood or from the chipboard or from the whatever. The fan's gonna suck it up, and therefore it doesn't also smear on your project. Big win. And then it all gets trapped into here, and when this gets gross, you can either flip it over or get a new one. And then it's got a filter and a filter. And then the fan's in the bottom. I will have to say, after doing some test runs, it's not quiet, but you kind of don't want it to be quiet because then it's not venting. You want it to vent so you don't have fumes coming out, you don't have big problems. Like, you want it to do the job that it's meant to do. Then you have, just attach the hose to the top. Don't make that mistake. I've done that so many times. Trying to lift this up. This does not stay connected on purpose. Lift from the bottom, and it's not heavy. So it's just this little hose and it vents right out. Super simple. You have to turn them on independently. They don't get turned on together. So you turn this on, you turn this on, and you're good to go. In the back here, you have all of your ports, right? So you have your plug for your power. Just can't do this blind here. Oh, okay, there. Power plug. Then you also have a cartridge that you can stick in, and that allows you to put in a little SD card that has all the data on it. There are some really cute images that were on there. There's a really fun dragon one. There's a fun like butterfly-ish one. So let's play with those later. Then you have a USB, and then you have a C port. The cable that they give you is USB to C. So the C goes into your laser and the USB goes into your computer. I have a C port on both my computer and the laser, and I have a USB on my computer. And so I was running it the backwards way. And then I also had another cable that's a C to C. A C to C cable works just fine as well. And you wanna make sure you put the C port in here and the USB port in your computer. Just as a word of caution. Just to make sure I do it again. C port goes in there. All right, you also get this little handy dandy plate. This allows you to cut with your laser and not laser into my desk. Big win. So make sure you put this little thing in here, lift up the lid, and then just pop it in. Again, I'm doing this blind, so. Did I get it? All right, check it out. Yeah, baby, styling. If you would like to wear the glasses as extra precaution, because they're oh so fancy, you are more than welcome to do so. I feel like the green section is definitely good, but you make your decision for yourself if you want to wear the glasses or not. They did provide them, and you get a little glasses chamois, which I think is great. I have hooked this up to Lightburn, and I've used Lightburn for my other giant laser, and it works great. Just make sure you connect it. You have to do a little bit of some setting stuff if you want to connect this machine to your Lightburn. It's all written in here about what to do, but let's jump over and let me show you what I did. So first of all, open up Lightburn, and then you're gonna go into Laser Tools and Create Manually. You wanna select the GRBL and click Next, and then you're gonna do the USB, because that's how we're gonna connect it. Now, you are more than welcome to change this. You don't have to keep it as GRBL, and I went ahead and renamed it as the Mecpow M1. So just clear out that space, right, Mecpow M1, and you're good to go. Now we need to go in and we need to change our X axis and our Y axis lengths. These are both set to 100, and we're gonna keep it as millimeters, and then go ahead and click Next. Now it is already defaulted to front left, which is where we wanna keep it. And then you also wanna make sure that the toggle is over, so auto home when you're ending, and click Next and then finish. And then you can see that we have Mecpow GRBL code. It was there, it's another option when we find our device. Click OK. And here you can see the back of the screen changed, and now our template is the same as what the template is we have when we have our cutting. And so the size is relative to what we have when we use this laser. So let's get to testing the laser. Let's try it on a few different things. First, we're gonna test the chipboard, see how that does. I'm gonna give you a freebie, a little butterfly, the SVG file that I made that you can play to your heart's content. A link is down below where you can find this and also my freebie. So check down the information section. We're also gonna try a little wood block, and we're gonna try one of the designs they gave to us in that SD card that got sent to us. They had those little fun cards. So we're gonna try that out again with one of their cool designs. And then we're gonna try some fabric. My son cut off the legs to his jeans to make jean shorts, and so I was like, well, we'll try it on denim and see what happens. All right, let's get to testing. So here is our first piece. This is just a piece of chipboard, and keep in mind whenever you're doing any kind of test runs, you have this space, right? So this is a little piece that fits inside of here. It's got little feet on it, and this is the size that you have to work in, is right here. So we're gonna place this in here, and this prevents you from cutting anything like going through. And then we're gonna cut this. So this is all pure test runs. I have not pre-tested any of this stuff. There's this handy dandy little book right here, and it has, now I've got a 3.5 watt, and it tells me all of the settings, but if I wanna do a fill versus a cut, or if I wanna do something a little bit different, that's the part I don't know, because it only gives me one setting and it doesn't tell me what it does. Besides, you know, if I need to frost it because it's glass or something. And there's no chipboard on this book, so I'm gonna do my best. Before you do any kind of cutting, you notice there's this little arm looking doodad here. You're gonna move your laser to your surface, because right now that's a really big gap for your laser. So we're gonna drop this bad boy down, so like unscrew it, and wherever it lands, nice and comfortably, with the arm down, screw this back in place, and then lift up. So any new material, so if I put something that's a lot thinner or a lot thicker, I'm gonna have to readjust this little arm and the height of the laser. Drop this down, and this protects it. Up here is where the power button is, so that's how you turn that on. Just boop. This is the other fun little bit, which I showed you earlier, which is the vent, which allows you to do this anywhere you want. All right, well, it wasn't really plugged in. Now it's plugged in, so now I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on. It's gonna get a little loud, and then we're gonna cut. And I made a butterfly, so let's start cutting. There's the fan, you hear it? It's got a pretty good suction, but it's good. It's loud though. Cutting time. It is done. As you can tell, there are fill lines on here. I wanted it to do fill lines for sure. So that did such a beautiful job. Look at that. That is amazing. That looks so, so good. But what it didn't do, and it's probably because I didn't do enough passes, is I wanted to do a cut through, and it could just be that this is just a little bit too thick, because this is more of an engraving versus a cutting. And let's see, I put it at 6 passes to see if I could get a cut through, and this chipboard is pretty thick. But I do have a thinner chipboard, so let's try that one first. Here's the original chipboard. You can see how thick that is, and then this is the second stuff. Look how much thinner that is. So we're gonna try doing the exact same butterfly, but on the thin stuff. And since we are, I'm gonna move this guy out of the way here, and since that we have a thinner object, I need to retest my distance. So I need to undo this. Righty tighty, lefty loosey, Erin. Make sure you have the right direction. Turn that up, and then lift this up. All right. Now I'm gonna center this right in, it's got this little nice little white square. We'll put that in there. Now, before I get too far, I'm gonna go on my Lightburn, and I'm just gonna do a quick like frame. All right, it's telling me that my hood is not down, so I need to put my hood down, so that way I don't have a problem. I like that. I didn't even realize it did that. That's pretty darn awesome. All right, we're gonna try the frame again. What it's making me do is it's making me turn everything off and turn everything back on. So we're gonna turn it off, turn it back on, make sure everything is connected. We are good, and now we're gonna try framing. So that was just a safety precaution, which I think is pretty awesome. Now that is pretty darn close to the edge of that. So I'm just gonna shimmy this up a tiny bit because I got loads of space on here. So I just like moved it a tiny bit closer. I'm gonna reframe that again. I like that a whole lot better. I just feel like it's not so close to the edge. And I'm gonna run it with all the same settings. I'm gonna do the entire butterfly again. Let's run it. Let's check out our laser. I think it did it. Yeah, baby, it did it. Now I do have to go in and I have to like pop little wings out here. Even though I set the same setting, for whatever reason, two of the elements came out, like the outside and then also the little inside piece, but this little piece right here didn't just pop out. I mean, it's coming off if I'm pulling it, which is really cute. I am noticing a little bit more of a spread of the fill part. My oopsie, I forgot to turn on the vent. The shading part is smearing because it didn't vent off as I was doing that. And I was sitting going, what am I smelling? What is that? And then I realized, I forgot to turn the fan on. I forgot to turn the little vent thing on. So it does make a difference. When I had the vent on previously, I didn't smell a thing because it was all getting sucked up, right? So everything, all that stuff was getting pulled in here. It's noisy, but it does its job, and it didn't smear like this one did. So turn your vents on. All right, so same as before, we're gonna lift up this vent. Now, this is obviously not gonna fit in here. So I'm gonna adjust this. I'm gonna push this wood block on here, put this back, and let my little arm drop down. Boom, just screwing that in. There we go. And then now I can lift that little guy up. Perfect. So I'm gonna drop this down. We're gonna turn the machine on, make sure everything gets set. Let's go ahead and cut. I skipped through all the cutting part because you guys have seen that before, but let's take a look at this bad boy. Oh my goodness, this is so cute. But take a look. Now previously when I was doing the other cuts, I was using SVG files. This one is using a JPEG file. And what I'm noticing is there is a little bit of some pixelation happening on the wood. So it's not quite as what I would call clean. There's some shading happening, even with the vent on. Maybe it's because it's the JPEG file. It's picking up some little pixelated stuff versus the SVG file, which I made and it was nice and clean. And there's no way it's gonna cut through that big giant thing, but it did a really good job on that wood piece. Let's do this little card thing. I'm gonna go ahead and speed this part up and just show you the final product. All right, I turned everything off. Let's take a look at this one. Look how cool that looks. This is one of the other files. Look at that, and it just cuts right through. That'd be a fun business card to laser your own business cards. All right, let's try the fabric. All right, now, this is a prime example of why I love to do test runs, because this is a material I've never done. I did all of these at different speeds and different powers just to see what would work well. And for the outer layer, which you can't even see on here, I did that one at like speed power of 3,500 and then like a max power of 60. So that didn't quite get there. Like I can't see that on this fabric. So like this inside ring right here, this ring right here was speed of 2,000, power of 60. So slowing it down made it easier. Whereas the outside ring, I did speed of 3,500, power of 60, and you can't see that outside ring at all. These outside dots, the darker dots, I did those ones with a speed of 35, but power of 80. And then the inside dots, which are a little bit lighter, those ones were done with a speed of 4,000 and a power of 40. So the bottom line is play around with your settings. But what I do love about this little guy is that it's little. There's good and bad things about that. The best thing is that the storage of this machine is so simple. Look how small this is. Look how perfect and tiny and cute and adorable this is. I just want to cuddle it and snuggle it. It's perfect. The Bad side is that because it's small, you can't do mass batching. So it is perfect if you just want to do a project here and there. It's perfect if you want to play with this and play with that. I want to do a little butterfly, of which I think I'm going to use this butterfly in a little journal project. This little guy is perfect if you want to start dabbling into laser. It connects beautifully with Lightburn, which kind of works with any machine. So even if you upgrade or you get a bigger machine and bigger wattage, it is great. Plus, this little guy also has the ability to upgrade to a higher watt laser. So the actual, instead of a 3.5, it has the ability to go to a 5, which can do even more things. You're still limited to the size of the object you can put into the machine to engrave or to cut, but it's great to get yourself started, which I think is exactly what we all need. So now the big question is, what do I cut next?